The lecture na ko karon is something I've always been arguing for the last 10 years, which is Mindanao as the center of Philippine history. So, while ginaset up ang PowerPoint, I would like you to imagine for 1 minute what Philippine history looks like if you stand in Saksa. So, tindog ka sa Saksa port, what does Philippine history look like? So, tindog ka dito, Davao, no? Sige, diyan na lang sa Agdao. Dito ka sa Agdao, you look up north, what does Philippine history look like?
Gusto nga tuwing.
Unsa daw nga tuig?
Anytime, since 1901, sige. Sa tuig
1901 yun.
Lisod Tubagon kay only in 2018 did the Philippine government, 2016 dahil, realized that Mindanao is not and Sulu are not part of Philippine history. So last month, dinimi sa Davao, workshopping with Dato Michael Mastura, foremost Mindanao historian, si Professor Heidi Gloria, si Patricia Dapudao, taga Davao, si wala si Ompong, nag-siesta at this time, si TSU IIT, si Professor Giovanni Caballero. Ang ilang purpose sa panel is to say, how do you integrate Mindanao and Sulu into Philippine history? 2016 na niya. Unang i-react, of course, ang mga yung ni Mike Mastura, that is not possible. So, si Supremo Isko sa University of Southern Philippines, diyan sa mga lumad, kalmot siya nga Marawi, Tulo, NMSU, Bitawi, ngayon po sila, where are our stories? So, they are now on their third stage sa discussion daw nila, which is to ask teachers how to incorporate that. Now, noong 2 weeks ago, ang CHED binabago ang history, di ba? So, they cover the history, but they have to implement this. So, okay, we can start with that. So, where is Mindanao in Philippine history? The second one is then led me, after the workshop, to this. In 1998, ang Reader's Digest, hatag of commissioned a history and kasaysayan of the Philippines from the pre-colonial era, maritime archipelagic Mindanao to Cory Aquino. I listed kanina chapters. These are the number of sections and delete chapters where Mindanao was mentioned. 1998 na, that's still pwede pa lang palito. So, 02 earliest Filipino kasi they were mentioning the maritime thing. Spanish conquest was the Moros, the raids, the ballroom raids. And then back to Ash from Ashes, the Emmanuel Rebellion. It's not just the only problem. The other problem is the idol of nationalists, Renato Constantino. So, Renato Constantino, Volume 1, mentions na, page 29, of course, Philippines, the history of the Philippines is not complete without Mindanao. Then proceeds to give the following lies. Okay? Lies. Okay? First is beleaguered fortress and Muslim Mindanao, which is how stories, if you talk to somebody in the history department in UP or even Ateneo, they will say Moro resistance to Spanish oppression. Okay? The second lie is this, some trading lang went on between Muslims and foreign traders. Kinsa man and accidental at irregular lang. Mura ba ba? Night markets are. And the third one is occasional contact. No? And then the fourth one, ingon siya, alienation of Christians and Muslims under Spanish colonialism and worsened under the Americans. Half problem, half issue. Volume 2 of Constantino, continuing past Republic of the Philippines, there is no mention of Mindanao at all. So ang total pages devoted to Mindanao in Constantino and ang Concilio is 34 pages. So you are studying a history of the Philippines by people like Tato, but of which this is how So atong workshop, kay suko na ang mga tiguang, sila Mike at saka si Dr. Mike at si Professor Heidi o si Ompong, we came out with a proposal that if you write about Mindanao, you write like this. Dili pre-colonial Spanish-American Republic. Mauni ang suggestion. And second suggestion is, kani, dili ni kompleto ha. I was just listing down. And third one is third? Oh, fourth. Mauni akong suggestion. So kani mga listahan, I can share with you later. Tutanaw ninyo ang argument ni Mike. Period of Nasuntara, we're not part of the Philippine nation. Americans who are under the same as the rest of the country, pero may complication na. Army rule, elaborate na ko niya. Filipino colonialism, Commonwealth, Davao, special provinces. Japanese colonialism, everybody talks about the hooks, the anti-war resistance, pero ang bagong libro ni Tamakena talked about the Moro Battalion, which actually destroyed much of the Japanese forces in Mindanao. Then Filipino colonialism, elaborate na ako niya. So, Moni ang sort of alternative proposal on how to teach Philippine history, of which Mindanao is the center. Ang akong suggestion sa atong karong hapon is to think of Mindanao this way. Ang idea of Nusantara there. Nusantara means outer island. That's an Indonesian term. So under a Nusantara concept, if you think of Mindanao, you do not think just of its relationship to Manila. You think of Japan. Actually, kulang na pa dire this kind of relationship. Nganong kaninga relationship? Because if you just consider the Sultan of Sulu's reign, center of trade before even during the Spanish era was this. But more interestingly, okay, yung unsay world sa taga Mindanao before Spanish era, or even up to now, mauni ang Mediterranean Sea sa Europe at the background. Maritime Southeast Asia is larger in size. Kung pasabot, bubiyahe ka, kung naka sa Spain to Ukraine o Belarus, mas layo from Aceh to Papua. Subot pasabot, we belong to a wider world. Here we are, but most of us do not think this way. Now, if we start thinking that way, keep in mind, question ako na, how do you write the Philippines? So under the Nusantara era, this was the center, trading here, trading here, sometimes even here. Busa na ay burial ground ng Sultan of Sulu in southern China. What the hell was he doing there? Sino may taga Sulu diri? Atong mga bahay sa malikod. What is the most popular last name in Hulu? Where did that come from? And all throughout Southeast Asia, ang means of trading is kung Chinese trader ka, at ka sa Tawi-Tawi o sa Hulu, ibili nimo ang pinakagwapo nimo nga crewman. Collateral siya. Palito nimo ang bird's nest, pearls, etc. of spices, balik nimo sa shaman, balikan nito, balik dito. Now, of course, ang pinakagwapo nga crewman gets to date the daughter of the Sultan, di ba? Or the Datu. The children now become the translators. Fluent in Chinese, sila na ang next world businessmen. So, Sultans not come from here. So, ang Nusantara has a wider world, di ba? Now, look at the Spanish period. The Spanish period, unsa may reach sa Spain, the archipelago. Because mo nag-iingon sa Viva el Papa, di ba? This is what Spain told us, the Pope told you, this is the Philippines. Unsa international trade sa Spain, Manila, San Francisco, i-compare na sa which world is wider? Kung wider imong world, narrower ka. And in fact, sa galleon trade, ang contribution sa Pilipino, sa Manila is people and lumber. Di ba? Wala man tayo mabaligya sa San Francisco o sa Mexico. We are famous for our bird's nest, pearls. Daghang gimangnaw ang luman nakalimot ako. But there are kinds of raisins, na kapanahon sa mga luman from the mountains straight below and goes up. Birds, beeswax. Pero dire, wala, di ba? So can you imagine the world that the Spanish taught us? The third one is this. Remember Constantino, Beleaguered Fortress? Slave race, Up until 1898, This one was called by the Spanish as La Mer de Moro, the Moro Sea. What was the slave raids? The slave raids were offensives by the Maguindanao and the Lanao, Datus, and Sulu Sultanates to get resources and people. It was not Spain attacking Mindanao. Only in 1872, after 200 years or so, were the Spanish able to establish a stable presence here. So, tanaw ninyo, kamo magtuturo ng mga bata, gusto man folklore, di ba? Asa ang location sa mga forts? Asa ang forts? Ang fort, kung nakay fort, what is the purpose of the fort? To defend, di ba? Forts are not offensive. Fort. To defend against the moral thing, moral assaults. So instead of what Constantino said, na beleaguered and Mindanao, it was Visayas and Luzon which were beleaguered. So it's not Moro or Lumad struggling against the Spaniards, it was the other way around. Okay? Now, of course, paabot sa mga Amerikano, sa Dutch, Southeast Asia ceased to be just without borders, meron na borders determined by Europe. Pero ang weird thing sa Pilipinas is, when the Americans came, ang giset up nila is the Moro province. Diba? Tuloy mo kayo nung sa Moro province? This is an interesting province kay two of the largest provinces of the Philippines, Zamboanga, Dapitan, Lanao. Isa ka province, there's no other province as big as the Moro province. Pero ang weird thing is, when the Moros resisted the Americans, okay, ang ginaportray sa Manila is that the Moro resistance was part of the nationalist resistance for the Pilipinas, for Filipino nationalism. Ang sources mismo, kung anong garebelde ang mga Moros, Tausug, Maguindanao, is this. Walay Philippine nationalism. Now, why were they rebelling? They were rebelling because of their income. Trade with Singapore, di ba? Gina-abuse sila ng Amerikano o Pilipinos. Diba? So there is nothing nationalistic here. Ang isa pa nga na nabasa nako is, while the Americans were negotiating with the Sultan of Sulu, nanguntahan na, when I go to Singapore, can I buy and fly the American flag? Why? Kay, kung mag-trade ang Sultan of Sulu in Singapore with an American flag, kusugi mong backer. Of course, wala kusog ng Amerikano. And the other document na found ako sa archives sa US is complaint sa isang American governor. Like, why are we subsidizing this bastard, the son of the Sultan of Sulu? He has a beautiful house in Singapore. So, very local. And the other interesting thing is, so, ang perception sa mga Amerikano of Moros and Luman communities is this. Pero instead of civilians, they put the soldiers, the army, to control this large province. Di ba? The army, for 1 decade, controlled din. Repeat na isang dissertation. And ang implication diha is two. One is, ang ilang function was supposed to civilize the Moros. They destroyed the resistance to the Moros, but then educated them. Okay? So, nung fieldwork ko in 1990, isa sa mga tiguang ng interview na ko was a child. Ang iyang accent, parang nagiging New Jersey. Ang teacher was an American soldier na may accent. So the first generation of actually Cordillerans and Moros who were educated, they speak like Americans. So after fighting them, they educated them. Okay? After fighting them, they weakened the Datos, they destroyed the connection to the Nusantara, they ended slavery, but no gibuhat sa mga Kano. They shared power. Okay? With the Sultan. The famous Datu Biang, 11 children, best friends of the Americans. You know, and look ang Amerikano sa iya. So, they neutralized the Datos but offered new positions. So, the Nusantara world began to disappear. Ang sultans and datos that we understand them today, Maguindanao, Tausug, Mindanao, became known as local leaders. Isa ka ni Quezon, walang naging change. Ang mga old elites, dato elites that collaborated with the Americans. But there's one thing interesting. In 1908, itong mga sundalo na to realized okay, that the Muslims were not Filipinos. So, na-propose nila in 1908 na i-separate ang Mindanao and link it with Guam. So, ang first supporter for Mindanao separatism was not only the Moros but the Americans. Kaya they didn't like the Filipinos. Now, Muslims na eh. What was happening in other provinces? Other provinces is this. How was the most backward of the Moro province? Nag-set up ng Abaca factory ang mga Kastila, bagsak sila. Then the Japanese came in. 18,000, not Japanese, Okinawans, came to revive the hemp industry. Ang kaning libro ni Pat, very interesting, kay ang gina-argue ni Pat was Davao was connected to Japan and Chicago. Okay? 1910, 1911, 1920, Davao was already a cosmopolitan world. Na ang connection, to go back to if that Davao did not connect to Manila, connected to Japan because of hemp, to England and the US because of hemp, and may naibabong study karon ng isang Amerikano, the origin of tuna. Ngano tuna became an important industry in southern Mindanao. Kapaw mo? Ano man? 18,000 Japanese needed meat. Di ba? Luzon ang Davao, southern Philippines, walay plateau like Bukidnon. So you cannot raise cows and pigs. Source, tuna. And so his name is, si Anthony Medrano. Ang yung study ang origins of tuna exports. Tuna exports began, the Japanese began the hemp industry. Competition pala sa Chinese. So, tuna went to Japan, hemp went to England and the US, and Davao actually was a center. Have you ever, this is one of the pasok, ano ang bugiro mo ni mga Katagalabaw? What is the source of paghahambog ninyo mga Katagalabaw? On the one hand, ang bugiro ang mga Katagalabaw, the other, kami, ina-ignore sa Manila. Schizophrenic personality ng mga Katagalabaw.
Kasi Brescia.
Di ba? Manila niya, punta na. Pero hoy, Davao may. Kinatrace na ako diri. The idea that early on, Davao was exposed to the world. Japanese, Americans, Spaniards. Uya mo rin, di ba? Kastilaloy. Kitsa pang Mercado diri. Kaliwat ako. Oh, di ba? Sino?
Bolton na.
Oo, Bolton. So, compared to to Tarlac or even Quezon province, mas connected ang Davao. Kung Davaoen nyo pa, nakay idea of Tokyo, nakay idea of Chicago sa ha? Ito Tokyo. So, ang akong suggest yung mga bata, basahan eh. It will give you really pride in why Davao is really important. Now, everything changed, of course, after World War II, no? Ilan pa kami minutes? Daliwanan ako. So, World War II, things happened. Manila became the capital, became government. What did it look at Mindanao? It looked at Mindanao this way. Repeated what the Americans said, but also, I imagine Mindanao as a free space, di ba? So, dark, very dark, mga Moros, di ba? Rich, very rich. Zone of instability, daghang smuggling, daghang patay, kung may eskapo ka na. Uncivilized, savage, Moro. Oh, Muslim ko. Handok na sila. So, the idea of taga Mindanao nga, yung isang classmate pa lang, oh my God, you speak English very well. Kuya P. Kunong fathers na tulo na ako. But they have no idea of that. So, if Mindanao was dark, it needs to be civilized. If Mindanao is full of wild people, it has to be policed. But if Mindanao is wild and spacious, it has to be built up. Wala na kumandan, appeal din ang isa ka website. But in 1946, atuan ninyo ang Facebook ni Manuel Piñol. Nasa pictures dito of Mindanao Forest. 90% of Mindanao was rainforest in 46. So si Piñol, nakilala nyo? Tatawag niya Facebook page. But how was supposed to be, if Mindanao was not unstable, how do you preserve it? You preserve it with local politicians who enter, Manila lang, Dili Manika, who enter into this thing called mutual accumulation with Manila. In exchange for votes, Moro or Mindanao votes, okay, this guy, Almendras and Daton, were allowed to control power. Pero, mo na ang problema karon. Because they were powerful, one of the things they forgot is to educate their communities, di ba? Is to keep the communities poor. In 1964, 30% lang yata of public schools were operating in the entire island. So, ang impact ani is, kung ingon ana, kung wala kay natunan sa eskwelahan, unsay memory imong nabilin what the Americans taught you. Or the exceptions are the Ilocanos in Cotabato, but you know. So they ruled by patronage, by authority, guns, and gold when necessary. Now, in 1960s, however, nagbago tanan. First is napuno na ang Mindanao. Nasugod na ang away between settlers and indigenous communities. Sa akong research, I found out that there was more land conflict in Davao than in Cotabato between Laan, Manobos, and settlers compared to Cotabato, based on newspaper reports. So, ang land conflict, nag-close ang frontier, conflict developed, hingsulod pa si Marcos. And Marcos wanted to change the Liberal Party structure in Mindanao. So, nahita mo, it became more political. So, you guys remember yung Rats versus Barracuda. But, kanipon is the other thing that became important. Pineapple. Bananas. So, even if Mindanao was being controlled, economically, ang international connections sa Mindanao continued, okay? And to give you an idea that the international connections happened, ang Moro National Liberation themselves, okay? Kung istudyahan mo ilang background, they went to UP, some went to Xavier, Zamboanga, but others went to Egypt. They went to Egypt since Hashim Salaman. So mga scholars who did not just go to Manila, who went to Egypt and got exposed to Egyptian nationalism, di ba? And therefore linked to the Moro world, which means a Moro world that goes as far as Libya and Egypt and connected Malaysia, Nusantara, balik ang Nusantara, pero lahi ang perception. So, one of the things, halimbawa, I want to do research para sa mga bata, is what happened to the first 100 MNLF guerrillas who were sent to Libya. In 2008, interview kong isa ka imam sa Jensan. He was part of the second 200 who went to Libya. Gidala sa iyang village, dala sa Libya, and he was trained by East German social, anti-tank expert. Imagine that. Nag-aasa ka dahil. Nag-aasa ka. Ikaw.
Santo Tomas.
Ha?
Santo Tomas. Santo Tomas.
Santo Tomas. Imagine Santo Tomas, kakaroon, ugma, idala ka sa Libya. Okay, train ka sa East German socialism. Ang idea ni mo. So these guys were notable for the fight, the Moro Rebellion. You're familiar with this. But the other thing is they also represent a re-globalized Mindanao. Or Mindanao. Okay? Weakness sa the only weakness of the rebellion is very limited sila sa Moro zones. But of course, the third one, MNLF, is more interesting. Kaya they have more cohesive, bakit naging naman sila, pero intellectual sila si Jubair. Jubair is the first one to write an alternative history of the Moro struggle. Si Iqbal. Okay? They were military commanders, they trained in Afghanistan. The first MNLF commanders were not. Yeah. And this is the other interesting thing, which reminds you of Dato Piang. They were really good at negotiating, fighting the Philippine government, but negotiating with the help of the Americans. Remember si Christy Kine? Like, what the heck were the Americans doing in the middle of Sharif Agwa? Sharif Agwa, Bunbansa? Ano kampo ka? Anong kampo nila? Abubar, kampo ka? In fact, may ako nakuha ng letter ni Iqbal, Sim Salamat, writing to George Bush, the American Satan. So they were really good at this. Reminds you of what? Dato Piang of 1900. It gives you an idea kung sa mentality. So, of course, one of the problems karon sa current farm, no need to elaborate, kabalong mas familiar mo na ako di kayo. Of course, ang complicating factors is clan wars, guns, mas dagan baril na rin. No need to elaborate on that. Pero mo ni ang interesting thing nga nahitabo since then, arms trade, US military, hanggang pa. Does it not remind you of the trade before Spanish colonialism? Buot pasabot, ang connections of Mindanao with the rest of Southeast Asia remain. Nagbago lang ang products. Pusil. O tawi-tawi, mga chocolate from Xiamen, Vietnamese coffee, di ba? Dayon, in 1950, ang ako na ko'y bago na sulat on Blue Seal cigarette smuggling, 1950 to 1960. Gitrack na ako. I can send you a copy of the paper if you're interested. Ikan Golo. In 1950, galisyon ang Philippine economy, especially household needs. Everything was coming through here, Sabah. See, connections. One of the things I found out is ang sigarilyo sa US base sa Yokohama. Sa Yokohama, Hong Kong, Sabah, Ulo. Kaya kung saan CIA had a center here sa Kaana. The other thing I found out is contrary to the Orthodox explanation that Muslims and Christians hated each other, they don't. Number one partner sa mga tao. So, taga Bujol. Dahil sa Bujol, ginatago ang sigarilyo. Okay? Dili masud sa customs, sa Coast Guard, ang mga little base sa Bohol. Oh, kaya mga, if you've been to Bohol, di ba, mga small alcoves, diha, idalan tumatawag sa and then they transfer it to Cebu and bring it to Manila. I had a friend now, I discovered a new friend, yung last name is Polo, because Sorsogon siya. Grandfather was a trader. So, this one, ang argument pag ginako is what sustained the Filipino household in the 50s, sumagot from Cebu. But now, money worry sa mga karon. Okay? And the informal economy is this. 80% sa BARM is informal, meaning they don't pay taxes. Di ba? 30% of the Philippine economy, we are in the informal sector. So if BARM is like that, how much is Mindanao? Ang suggestion nila, 60% of Mindanao is informal. Meaning, operated, ukay-ukay, nga dili ka mo pay. And of course, if you are in the informal sector, the tendency of conflict to rise up because high goes high kay Pusilman is one of the things that ibayo. Okay, last na lang. The communists in Mindanao. Mindanao communism is interesting because of these three guys. Okay naman si Rolly Quintanar, Edgar Robson, and Benji de Vera. If you study the history of the Communist Party of the Philippines during martial law, the fastest growing region of the party was in Mindanao. Here. One couple of reasons. One, contiguous. 3, mountainous. But number 3 is, with the exception of Hobson, local. Now, mga local yan sila. No? They studied. Lot of the leadership of Mindanao communists were all local. Kita ko ni si
Madlos.
Madlos, di ba? Taga-asa si Madlos? Ha?
Surigao.
Taga si De Vera, taga-asa? Davao. Si Quintanar.
Davao.
So, local bred, and they were the fastest, and actually, one of the reasons na nag-away-away sa parties because they want to become a regular army. Look at the number of encounters, highest. But here's the other interesting thing. Mindanao was also the birthplace of this guy. Ed Q, who is Ed Q? Ed Quitoriano was born in Icao, Misamis Oriental. His book is coming out in June. This is the story of a boy as an ex-seminarian from Ilitao who ended up in Syria, North Korea, had a one-on-one with Gaddafi, Nicaragua, Peru, Brazil, Mexico, and North Korea. He was sent by the communists, by people like Quintanar, to collect guns for the NPA. Nobody in the Communist Party did this. So ang bata nga taga-Ilitao, o ikaw, dito ka suddenly finds himself talking to Gaddafi. Again, think of the global, di ba? It's an interesting book parang taga-bukid na si Litaw, ako ka sa Kalungan sisters, father, and suddenly you have to talk to this half-drunk Sandinistas. Dito siya sa Sandinista, nakita pa niya si Richard Gere o si Peter Paul and Mary. dito sa swimming pool. This is a very fascinating story kay when he was traveling yun, and everybody said, "Who are you?" I'm a representative of the NPA. What is the NPA? Pero, one of the pictures in that book is this. He is the last Filipino to see Kim Il-sung before he died. Guess who are these people? North Korea. Who visited North Korea? So this is Ed. Mura na siya kuan. Gangster. Guess who is this? Jose Maria Sison. Because the North Koreans said, "Can you have to bring back their leaders to the Communist Party?" So he had to bring Jose Maria Sison, his wife, Sixto Carlos, and then met some NPA in North Korea training to be anti-tank commanders. Again, think of him, hindi siya taga-Lasal, taga-Inita. Think of this, what kind of global Mindanaoans, global world the Mindanaoans were exposed to? Okay. From MNLF to Coag to the trade of Kulutso. Why is it not centered? Remember, 1975, if you ask when did Marcos begin to decline, 75 MNLF war, diba? If you ask how did Gloria Arroyo get her 1 million vote? Carol?
Alam mo na.
RMF, they need 1 million votes. Hello, Garcia. So we were always central in the Philippine history. But if you go back to the writing of history, wala na. Where disappeared? What if he was able to bring guns from, ang iyang plano was, si Gaddafi gave him $1 million, ha? Yung Gaddafi, okay, use that to buy a boat from Malaysia to get guns from Korea. Pero ang Korean, gihatagan ko siya $1 million, half of them fake. Taga-initaw, di ka ba nung-open ng bank account? I-deposit sa Swedish account, sa Swiss account, di natakpan sa Amerikano. So it's a very, so anyway, if he was able to come back, okay? If these things are happening, why are these absent in Philippines? And Busa, he said, ito ang aking decent proposal, we should ask to start ask different questions. Here in Mindanao, but also in places like Manila. One is, for example, to compare provinces. You cannot think of Davao del Norte, Davao del Sur, Davao. This one, Davao lang, di ba? Very artificial ang connection, ang pag-gross map. So we start thinking of comparison, we start thinking of broader, we start thinking of with Island and Manila. With Davao, where is Davao sending its product? Okay. Third is, what is it like to think of Philippine history as a Mindanaoan? What is a Mindanaoan perspective? Ang daan na sa, kung liputan ni mga exhibit, there's a lot of suggestions on how to think Mindanao. Different ways, Lumad and Muslims. But I thought you might want to also think about this. Importante ang oral history. Kaya palabi na sa 50s and 60s, wala yung newspaper. Diba, when I was doing my field work in 1990, agto ko sa Kawayan, bugo na yung newspaper dili. Sir, nakipakilo na ako doon. So, ang kadaghan ng history up until now, I think, even up to now, oral. Ang ex-NPA, ex-MNLF, ex-politician, oral na. Importante na ng mga bata, kaya kaming mga generation mo, limtano namin. Nawala na ko dili sa Davao, dito sa asa ko yan ito. Okay. O video, kaya ang mga bata karon video. Second is museums and monuments. Monument, importante, kayo mo na itanawon ni mo. Yan, sugo, di ba? Grade 6, first public ni mo high school, grade school, at tuta sa Luneta, tanawon. Monument, importante, museums, but database, kay tanan tuan na sa, di ba? Nasa web na tanan eh. So, nako yung database, ihatag na ko sa inyo. Pero kani ang importante, most schools teach French, German, Japanese, Chinese. No school teaches Visayan, Maguindanao, Maranao, Davao Tagalog, Tiduray. Why are schools not teaching that? Isa ka other thing to think inside. If you go to Manila, you ask a Manileño how many languages they speak. Tagalog, English, and maybe their family's language. How many languages a Tausug smugglers speak? Pila man? I counted 8. Maranao, Maguindanao, Tausug, Tagalog, Bisaya, Chabacano, Bahasa Indonesia, Bahasa Malaysia, Hokkien. So think of it this way. Why is Mindanao not the center when a big group of Mindanaoans speak 9 languages, whereas in Manila, they only speak 2 languages? Which is the center, which is the periphery? Di ba? Origin of Davao Tagalog. Diba? Gina-argue sa ng Domingo so na Davao Tagalog. Yeah.
Kasi ano, di ba?
Si Dodong Dimenso, the President Dimenso of UP said, actually it's Davao Tagalog that is the national language. Why? Kasi Duterte, he was listening to Duterte, the East which is Ticom, shifts Tagalog. But there was not, for Davao for example, there was this thing called Davao Spanish before the war, for the mix of Japanese, Spanish, English, Visayan, Tagalog. Wala na source ana. It disappeared. So I think, Sir, Vice President, maybe Ateneo can start a language program on, what? Maguindanao or what? Local, di ba? So that Ateneo can participate in the smuggling trade. Yeah, but 38, 40% of the informal sector, maybe. So, no, kakabong na may eskwela sa University of Mindanao. Mandaya, sa pa yung mga language sa Davao. Magogo. Why not teach that? Why not teach it's very important that ang image nato, our memory is framed by that, di ba? So, new history, kanaya, lisod na kay Manila, kalaban ni Mondire. But, you can play around with courses naman, di ba? Do this. And cannot integrate back to Dato Michael Mastura. Is it possible? It's not possible. So, maura na akong istorya ninyo. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Thank you.
Name po.
BIM Iaga ay sub-regional Mindanao with sub-regional Indonesia, Malaysia. Reflection ba na sa start ito? All for orientation kay naman tayo ASEAN economic community, pero in practice, if you're from Sulu, you're already consuming Malaysian.
Yes.
And the Malaysians are drinking Coca-Cola made in the Philippines. Without tax, walang tariff.
I think ang Bill Iaga is recognition na sa some people in the Ramos administration na this exists, di ba?
And Mahathir. Ramos
And Mahathir, di ba? Ramos and Mahathir talking about, kasi Malaysia was supplying the MNLF, di ba? Sabah, I think half of Sabah is agaw sa mga kulong. So that's de facto na. There used to be a rich trade in coconut oil and gasoline between Davao and Manado. But nobody in Manila would recognize that. So to be fair, Ramos and Mahathir, they recognized that the trade was happening. Ang problema is the presidents after them were not interested. Usawagin masustinar. And partly because, quote-unquote, undeveloped, nasa peri-peri ba? Pero basing magbago if the Indonesian government moves its capital to Sabah at the border. Okay. If Sara becomes president, siguro.
Si Bacong.
Si Bacong, okay. Pero Mindanao. From a Mindanao perspective, pero I think sa Ramos era, they recognize that. Pero yun, the next presidents were not interested. So de facto, it's going on, sir. You can get half the gasoline price sa Hulo eh. Barato kayo.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Grace po. I am an alumna of Department of History in MSU Jensen. My question is more of a personal lang, sir. Kasi sa amin, we struggle in preserving the history of the Southern Mindanao dahil sa, yun nga, ang katong mga katiguangan kay dili na kompleto ang ilahang ma-remember. And most of us struggle nga ma-document siya kay ang mga kabatanunan na ay, kumbaga, nawalaan sila confidence sa ilang identity. So, sa imo, na-mention na rin mo nga yung experience sa same struggle din as Mindanao historian. So, paunsa kaya nato ma-restore ang confidence sa atong kabatanunan, sir, sa ilahang identity nga maging proud sila sa ilahang identity kay sila raman ang makashare sa ilahang story. Thank you po.
Ang mga bata?
Yes po.
Proud na ba mo? Di ba? I think one way of doing that is pagtundo pa o more courses in Mindanao. The local history of Davao, Pananglitan, or onas. Napay knowledge ba? Dahil ang mas dali na ron kay naanang website, di ba? Nanay YouTube, nanay kuban false report, pero nanay sources. Pananglitan na last week, i-announce sa isa ka Southeast Asia collection na available for free sa web, ang Mindanao Herald. The first newspaper in Zamboanga. So na yung manana, dahil si Pat Dakudaw, ako, si Pat Dakudaw, we make it a point na we donate whatever research we have. So, pananglitan, itong akong dissertation, wala pamanggot ko'y kontak kayo ato sa Xavier Macubay. So, ang na-donate na ako akong tanang data sa Ateneo nila, tapos sa Ateneo Manila, with the provision na anybody from Mindanao can access it. So, karong akong next sources tingali, i-share na ako sa Mindanao News o sa Ateneo de Davao. Namin nahimo nga long list of Mindanao timeline from 800 to last month based on newspapers. Gina-add lang namo ang 1950s kay ikan sa akong dissertation, pero kanang nga database open to anyone who's interested. Katulo, language. One of the most meaningful panel we had sa Cebu was sa Philippine Political Science Association. It was on Mindanao, the national. All of the panelists spoke Bisaya. Hindi na nga ungkap ng mga Tagalog. Hindi ba sila nagsarap ang mga nagsabot. But they had to sit there because they had to respect us. So it was really funny. And then I gave a talk sa Cebu also, and I talk in Bisaya. Doon, buang ko ng mga Tagalog